Hi, it's a lipstick gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm gonna get ready for the day, but I decided to only use drugstore products. Okay, part of this is because I picked up a few new things and I'm trying to find like products that really super impressed me from the drugstore. Oh, I'm gonna do what I almost never do, which is to start with some primer. This is the e.l.f. The Power Grip Primer. Part of me is like, who am I? I don't know. I don't know. I hope you're doing well. This fall has been like flying by and I'm kind of like, wait, what is going on? And then the other part of me is like, oh my goodness, it's almost the holidays. I can't wait. I'm super excited. My cousin and her son are coming for Thanksgiving. My in-laws live here in town. I have other family here in town. So it's going to be really lovely for Thanksgiving. I'm going to use the True Match. I think this is the lightest neutral shade they have. I think. I'm just going to put a little bit of it here on my palette, just one squirt, because I really don't want to use too much. I feel like this 05N is a great shade match for me because it's not too fair, but it is neutral. I feel like I've really been focusing on high-end or luxury products, especially with my purchases at Sephora from the sale, but I'm really trying to make sure that I don't lose sight of the drugstore. But I am going to tell you, I'm not like a drugstore queen. And that is just because it's unfamiliar territory to me. There's a couple of things that I'm like addicted to and are drugstore faves. And then there are some others where I feel like I'm always on the hunt for like this amazing thing that I just have to have. And I'm always like, they must make one at the drugstore. But since drugstore prices are going up, I'm kind of like hesitant just to be like buying stuff willy-nilly, especially if it's not going to be good, because then I've got it and I'm like, I really like the coverage level that I'm at right now, and I've only used half the pump. Man, I should use less foundation on a regular basis. I feel like it looks really good and it's not too heavy. Me, but slightly perfected. One of the reasons I'm doing this video is I am testing a concealer. It's not new, and it's one of those I'm sure that's been viral that everybody talks about, but I never got to try it. First of all, my local Ulta doesn't carry the shade that I need in store, and I keep forgetting to order it. So I finally did. I placed an Ulta order and I got the Bear With Me concealer from NYX. The reason that I finally buckled down and purchased this is because Mary from Glitzy Fritzy was talking about it and like rave glowing review. So I'm gonna give myself just like a fraction of a pump. This right here is the lightest shade in Fair. This is really brightening under the eyes. I did try light once and it was too dark. This is one that I'm trying to see whether I need corrector or whether I can use like just concealer under my eyes. And I'm still kind of in the testing process. One thing that I really like about this, I've worn it a couple times already. First of all, super hydrating. Oh my goodness, she's beautiful. And the price, like it's super affordable. I'll have to put the price up, and this will be the price that I paid for it at Ulta. I feel like a slightly well-rested version of myself. I really like this concealer. Now it is really dewy, and I find that if I don't set my under eyes right away, this does migrate into the fine lines, and the older I get, the more of those that I have. I don't have like a ton of them, but you know, the day is coming. Right now, I just finished tapping it out and I feel like it looks pretty good, but I do see even just like a little bit of where it's settling in to small places. So what I will do is take a minute to double check that I have tapped it all out before I set. And what I'm going to use to set my under eye today, I'm going to use 2 different powders. I have loved this. I know they changed the packaging. The lid isn't black anymore, but the Halo Glow setting powder from e.l.f. is a beautiful, beautiful under eye setting powder from the drugstore. If you're looking for something that is lightweight, this has a little bit of radiance to it, and I like that. I know that's not for everybody, but I'm always looking for a little bit of extra light. I have just a little bit on my brush, and I'm just gonna lightly sweep it on. You can use this all over the face if you like a slightly radiant look. I don't feel like it's like glowy like a like a highlight. It's not that sort of a setting powder, but it does definitely bring just a little bit of subtle radiance. To me, it looks like skin. It doesn't end up looking dry and powdery. For the rest of my face, I'm going to be using this Infallible powder from L'Oreal. I forget how good this is. Mine has a huge divot in it. Like if you're going, it's like my finger dips down, it comes back up. I love this stuff. In the summertime, I use the puff that comes in here. It's one of those little white kind of spongy things. But I want a lighter layer than that today because this can build coverage and that's not what I'm looking for. So I am just gonna lightly, you know, pick some up with a brush and then we're just gonna lightly set the rest of the face. I would love to know what your favorite powder is from the drugstore. I used to like the Maybelline Fit Me, and I feel like it does okay on most of my face if I want kind of like an all day sort of wear. But the one thing that I struggle with is I cannot put it underneath my eyes, or in the winter time, any place that I might have any sort of potential dry patches, like corners of my nose or like right along the edges of my face. Like, no, it doesn't look good. And I feel like this does a good job of setting without looking heavy, even though it is basically a powder foundation. I don't know. I feel like if you need more coverage, you could use the little applicator that comes with this. But when I use it just lightly with a brush, it ends up setting my face and not looking too heavy. If you didn't know, this is my favorite bronzer from the drugstore. I've tried several. I love this one. And this is one of those that I would say is even better than some of my more expensive products. So the Infallible from L'Oreal, this is the lightest shade in 200 Fair. I usually go with the lightest. The problem I have is that sometimes bronzers from the drugstore, I mean, look how pretty and like easy that was. Just a little bit of color, not too much. And the difference between here and here, it's like Ghost and Life. This is one that I always think about, like if it was in different packaging, if it was in luxury or high-end packaging, I would totally believe it. And I would probably pay the luxury price for this. But I love that it's drugstore and you don't have to pay the luxury price. I love how easy it is to just, you know, man, it's so good. I'm gonna go for this blush today. I was kind of trying to decide if I wanted to use kind of like a radiant blush, but this one's a little bit cooler. I love the finish of this blush, except for my eyeshadows are slightly on the warmer side or more neutral side, and I feel like this blush tone is gonna do the best for me. So this is the blush, real basic, from Essence. This one, by the way, is the shade number 10, Befitting. I'm just gonna grab a clean brush, pick up a little bit, knock off any excess. I don't want to end up with clown cheeks, and just lightly kind of blend this in. I'm trying to be a little bit better about not over applying my blush. I know for the longest time I was like, I felt like I needed to wear a red nose. Like I was definitely in clown territory. And I always say this, but I grew up in the 80s, like was born in the mid 70s. And I remember like 80s draped blush so well. And it is one of those things that I love. I love a draped blush, hence it's coming all the way up to my temple, but I also love a really bold blush. And I need to just like, remember, I am fair. If I put too much blush on, I enter into like clown territory. There needs to be like calliope music following me everywhere. But I really do like this blush. I think it's a really pretty color and I don't reach for it that often, and I should. I'm going to be grabbing this. This is the Essence Kissed by the Light. It has kind of like blush, bronzer, and highlight all together. All the shades are radiant. But I am sticking just to like this highlight section today down here because I want a little bit of highlight, but I don't want like any more additional color. In the summertime, I run a big brush over this and I don't use bronzer, blush, and highlight. I use just this all over the face. And I really, really like it. But I'm gonna give myself a really soft glow today. The one thing I'll tell you is that as I get older, I have to be careful with this formula to use a setting spray to kind of melt it in because it can look a little like it's sitting on the top of my face and it's drawing attention to my texture. I'm in desperate need of some eyebrows, so I'm going to start with my Ultra Precise Brow Pencil from e.l.f. I have the shade Neutral Brown. I have the Wow Brow, but I don't think I'm going to use that today. And I better start on my more anemic brow because if I start on my more voluminous one, they may not match later. This is one of those pencils that is so great because the texture is, it's not too waxy, it's not too soft. It's not really hard. And you know, with a light kind of grazing, you're getting pigment, but it's not like instant, like, I'm hoping you're seeing that as I'm just kind of grazing over my skin here. I'm not pressing hard. I am just kind of building the color that I want. And I really like the spoolie in this. And I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but you know, I want the whole pencil to be useful. And the minute, like, I like everything but the spoolie, dude, if the spoolie is too hard or too soft, it needs to be hard enough to distribute product, but not so hard that it leaves like scratching marks and my skin gets red from it being, no. I feel like this is like the perfect formula for the way I like to do my brows. Just enough, not too much. And the difference between this and this, I feel makes all the difference. This has quickly become one of my ride or die brow products. I use the Control Freak from NYX with high-end brow products. It's just a clear brow gel. It's $7. I don't always see why it's worth paying $18 or $22 or more for a clear brow gel when this one is so good. And it lasts a long time because you're getting a lot in this tube. The one thing I have to remind myself of is that I do like a smaller spoolie, but for $7, I can make this mascara sized wand here work just fine. When I was at Ulta recently, I decided to drop this into my basket. And it was because I was looking through the e.l.f. section. I was looking for their new lip oil. I wanted to see what else there was that I was kind of excited about. And I was like, you know what? I have a shade of this that I don't use that often, but the formula is so good. I have the pumpkin pie. I used to have the hot jalapeno. I've also had the rose water. And the only one I have still at this point in my collection is the one in pumpkin pie, but I use those warm tones a lot less. And I thought, look, this is exactly the boring Betty sort of $3 eyeshadow quad that I would love. And I've never tried it, so that's what I'm doing today. I'm just starting here with this lightest shade. I feel like I need to set my lid. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the brown. I'm going to make sure I don't have too much. And then lightly start tapping over here. This is not like terribly exciting, but I wanted to get something I knew I would actually use. And every time I'm like, oh, look at this, and I'm grabbing something that's colorful, I am not a colorful eyeshadow person. I know that about myself. Or every time that I'm trying a new formula and I'm like, oh, and I get let down, then I just get kind of like gun shy. And I feel like that has happened a lot to me. And I knew that these e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadows are good. I know they're good. And for the price, they're really stellar. But I really feel like, you know, at this point, I wanted to get something that I knew I was actually going to continue to use and it wasn't going to be like a one-time purchase. I am trying to do less of the buying something just for a video and then never really reach for it again. Look at that, that's so pretty. Cannot wait to get this on the lid. I feel like the part of this quad that always sings no matter which one it is, because this is the fourth one I've tried, is always the metallics. The metallics are just beauteous. When these palettes first came out, I remember it, and I remember going to the store looking for them, and this is one of the ones I wanted. I could not find it for love or money. This one was sold out everywhere. And I'm glad that, you know, I'm finally getting my hands on it, but I think it's funny. It's been like, what, 4 years now? I don't remember. When did these come out? 2019? 2020? When was it? It doesn't matter. But they're just really, really good. So I've knocked off as much of the eyeshadow on my brush as I can, and I'm going to use the lightest metallic shade just here in the inner corner and on the inside third of the lid right here. I want it to be kind of soft. I don't want it to get to be too overpowering, but I do like that it's kind of like a lighter champagne shade. I like nothing more than like a boring Betty eyeshadow palette and using one brush for the whole look. I'm mixing a little bit of the deeper metallic and the brown together, just right here underneath the lash line. Now I'm going to take a minute to really blend. Before I get the rest of my eye makeup on, I'm going to take a minute just to give myself a little bit of hydration. I remember loving this hyaluronic mist from ColourPop. This is their Pretty Fresh one. It smells pretty good. I feel like it does a really great job of hydrating my face, but it also helps to kind of meld everything together. I'm on the hunt for the best drugstore eyeliner. I like the LA Girl one. The Milani one's okay. I decided to pick up some other ones that came very highly rated. One of them is this one from Pixi. This is the Endless Silky Eye Pencil. I have it in Cocoa Black. Unibrow eyeliner. I just feel like it seems kind of like boring, but endlessly useful. I like how this glides. I feel like it has a really nice ability to just glide over the lash line. The one thing that I have noticed is that when I'm wearing this, and I kind of try and get it like in between the lashes, sometimes I get product on the lashes themselves and then I struggle to build volume at the root of my lashes with mascara because I already have something that's kind of on it. But when I put this in my waterline, it smudges. So I like to, as much as possible, darken up the in between the lashes, like to get rid of all of those little skin toned gaps in between the lashes. But if I put this in my full upper waterline, I love the look of it for like 3 minutes and then it's like smudge. This is great above the lash line and it does a good job of staying put. I'm always looking for something I can put in my waterline. And if you were to rim both your upper and bottom waterline, you'd probably be fine. But I want product just in the upper, and when I blink to not have it transfer. This always transfers. So I'm cracking into a brand new mascara today. I don't know why. I think I had a tube of this and I gave it to my 15-year-old thinking that I'd already tried it, and I don't think I've ever tried the Sky High. I've tried the Sky High that comes in the black packaging and I didn't like it. And someone recently told me this is a tubing mascara. I love a tubing mascara, and a drugstore tubing mascara. Oh yes. So this has one of those, you know, you probably are familiar with this, one of those really spiky little silicone sorts of brushes. I like that it looks like it's really flexible. I like that it's not terribly rigid. It's supposed to give good length, good definition. We'll see what happens. And I'm really curious how it washes off. My favorite tubing mascara, by the way, is from a Korean brand called Hamish. It's the Smudge Stop. I love it. I've been able to find it, of course, on places like Stylovana or Yes Style. I also have purchased it at Olali. But when I found out that Walmart started selling Hamish products, you can get it on Walmart.com, which I think is great. And there might be, I don't know, there might be some Walmart stores that actually carry it in store. Mine doesn't, but doesn't mean I don't look every time I go. I think the reason that I keep thinking that I've tried this is because the pink container kind of confuses me with the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, which I do like, but it's not like my Holy Grail mascara. And it's been a long time since I've been like a huge drugstore mascara fan. I've just kind of like always been going back for like my faves from Lancome, or I am trying enough new stuff that there hasn't been like something that really pulls me in. This is actually really nice. And I know this is not a new mascara. Part of me is like, why am I trying an old mascara? But the minute someone said it's a tubing mascara, if you're ever wondering what makes a tubing mascara, I will put the ingredients on the screen for you. But as I was reading the ingredient deck on the back of the packaging, it talked about having a copolymer. So if you're ever curious, copolymer is one of the things you want to look for in an ingredient deck of mascaras. And that's the difference of a tubing formula. It will have copolymers in it. And apparently they wash off with water alone, which for me is what I'm looking for. If you have a favorite affordable tubing mascara, let me know what it is in the description box down below. And the other thing is, I'll tell you, I did a kind of tubing mascara ranking. I will put it for you here and in the description box down below. I certainly haven't tried everyone out there, but I've tried the ones that I could find at the time that were described as tubing mascaras, but it's certainly not an exhaustive list, but I think there's 8 or 9 of them in there. I kind of really like the way this looks. I do see that I, like always, got mascara where I didn't need it. Let's make a bold choice, put it on the bottom lashes as well, and we'll see how it wears. Hopefully no smudging, no flaking, and easy removal. If you watch my lip videos at all, you know I have been in love with the Milani Fruit Fetish lip oils. This is one of their holiday shades. You can see it has a a little bit of sparkle in here. This is one of the limited edition shades in Cranberry. I think it's the only one. I keep saying one of. I think this is all there is. But I picked this up. I've really been enjoying this. But I did want to talk about the Glow Reviver lip oils from e.l.f. Okay, first of all, I love the square packaging so much. I picked this one up today. I have been wearing this shade here. I think this one's called Jam Session. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. It's the deepest one there is. It is definitely kind of like a berry plum, but on the lip, it's just so pretty. It looks like hardly anything. I did want to try this one today because I haven't yet. This one's called Red Delicious. Ooh, you know what? Let's put a liner on first. I'm going to throw on a little bit of the NYX lip pencil in mauve. This is just a easy to sharpen wooden pencil. I feel like all that did is just kind of even out my lip line a little bit. So let's throw a little bit of this on. I like that it's a sheer red shade. Here is Red Delicious. This other one over here is Jam Session. I like how shiny they are. I really like the way these feel on the lips. I wore this one and perpetually applied it. I was driving back and forth to Seattle in a day. It's 5 hours there, 5 hours back, doctor appointment in the middle. So I was gone for like 12 hours, well, in the car. And then by the time I got home, it had been 12 hours. And all I'd had on my lips that day was this. And here's what I'll tell you. I love the way that it feels cushy. I like the way that it feels hydrating. I like the shine that it gives. My lips never felt dry. There are some products that even though you would think they would be nourishing like a lip oil, sometimes they just impart shine or glow, but they don't necessarily hydrate the lips. And especially as the temperatures start to cool down, my lips do need that moisture or they turn into a flaky, desert, angry, cracked, bleeding disaster. This kept my lips so supple all day long. I really, really, really like this. I feel like if I'm not careful, sometimes I can get like a little bit of stringing. Not really stringing, it's kind of like it sticks to itself. But as long as I don't go crazy with like over application, I really like this. And I feel like these two shades here are going to be all that I'm going to need. I have a deeper shade. I have kind of like a red shorter shade. My favorite part about these, the $8 price. Seriously, that $8 price is amazing. I normally don't do this, but I just wanted to tell you why I'm so excited about this. So these guys here, you're getting 0.25 ounces and they're $8. All right, this one from NYX, you're getting 0.15 ounces and it's $20. The Milani, you're getting 0.13 ounces and it's $12. The Beauty Pie, I love this, is one of my favorite products for glossy lips, is 0.16 ounces and it's $14. And I fell in love with this Clarins lip oil over the summer. Oh my goodness, it's fabulous. It's $29 and it's 0.2 ounces. You're still getting more product in this than you are in this. This is almost $30. This is $8. Okay, I think the other thing that this has going for it is that the doe foot, you see how it's slightly flexible? I love that. The one from Milani is a very similar shape. It's slightly flexible, but I feel like the one from e.l.f. has a little bit longer velvet on the doe foot and it's not as hard or rigid on the lips. I know the ones from Hard Candy, this one I think is like the worst. It's the hardest and the most uncomfortable. It feels like a piece of plastic. It's like, I do not bend. And I don't like this one, although I do like the product on the inside. I do like this lip oil, but I don't like the applicator. And my favorite thing about the Clarins one is like, it's like a little kitten's paw. It's like super flexible, even more flexible than the one from e.l.f. The velvet on here is beautiful, but this is really for $8, giving a little bit more luxury than some of the other more expensive products. I know NYX is not a drugstore product, but I feel like the other ones that are drugstore that have that similar kind of large and chunky doe foot do not feel as lovely as this one, and you're getting so much more product here. I would say this has a little bit of a cushy slip to it. It is hydrating, it is comfortable, It is very similar in feel to the one from Milani, so if you are not a fruit fetish fan, you probably wouldn't like the feel of this. This feels more like a gloss and less like an oil, whereas the reformulation of the Clarins lip oil, this is definitely more of an oil. It's a lot thinner. It has more of that kind of slip to it. This feels more like a non-sticky gloss. I feel like it's a little bit lighter weight than the Maybelline Lifter glosses. I feel like it's a little bit lighter weight than the Yummy Fresh ones from CoverGirl. I feel like both of those formulas, if you know those glosses from the drugstore, they tend to be a little bit heavier on the lips, a little bit stickier. And for me, they kind of sink into the corners and puddle, or will stick to itself and kind of string and pull. I don't find that this really does it, as long as I think any product will if you over apply. This one doesn't. And the reason that I like the other ones, you know, like these guys here, I love these, is because they don't get to be too heavy, but they do have that nice plush, cushy. And I feel like for the price, this one's fantastic, and which is why I picked up another one. It's not like I'm a stranger to drugstore glosses or lip oils. I have really kind of been going hard for that sort of thing, and I'm super impressed by the new e.l.f. one. I'm not always bowled over by e.l.f.'s releases, but I feel like a lot of time and effort went into this, and I feel like it's a really, really lovely product. All right, I'm just gonna leave it there. I do have other products that are new to me that I'm trying from the drugstore right now, but I wanna know, are you a drugstore only type of person? Do you only purchase drugstore products? Are you buying things on the more affordable side like Essence and e.l.f., or are you going more for the kind of higher price tag brands like maybe L'Oreal or Flower Beauty, things that can be a little bit pricier but are still considered drugstore? Let me know what your favorite types of products are, and if you have a holy grail tubing mascara from the drugstore, what is it? Thank you so much for watching today. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon.